Could this year be the year to get yourself a great used vehicle? Interest rates still at their all-time high, inflation still up, but car dealers are now filling up their lots with brand new inventory. It certainly feels like this might be the time that we're going to start seeing those great opportunities to buy yourself a new or specifically a used car this year. With peak demand, maximum prices, people fighting over cars right in the car lots, and you turn your cheek for 1 second and that person behind you is picking up that car you're even considering buying. 2022 was a brutal year for competition, brutal year because interest rates were low, people were buying up everything, inventory was going nuts, and 23 we start to see a little bit of a flattening out, and there was a little bit of opportunity to pick up used vehicles, although they were still high simply because inventory of new was still low and people were still seeking out used vehicles just because they couldn't get their hands on a brand new vehicle. So what is 2024 shaping up like in the used car market? According to the Manheim Used Vehicle Index, which bases on the wholesale auction pricing, average used cars and trucks in 2024 promised to be about 0.5% above the figures that we just passed in December of 2023. But that slight increase comes right after a massive decrease that we've seen from 2022 December to 2023 December, where prices fell nearly 7%. And by the time 2022 wrapped up, we saw about a 15% drop in those prices. And obviously a lot of this high pricing came as a result of supply chain shortages, couldn't get chips in new vehicles, vehicles sat partially finished on the back of the car lots. You couldn't get yourself a brand new vehicle. A lot of people were just fighting over those used vehicles. We also can't forget about what happened when we hit 2020. Everybody was sitting at home. Interest rates were low. People started to decide, hey, I need to get myself a new car, used car. I want a new truck, a toy, quad, ATV, boat, or even that great new sports car. That's why the new Corvette C8 has been so popular. And according to Jeremy Robb, the Senior Director of Economic and Industry Insights of Cox Automotive, sends a message that 2024 is looking to be far less volatile than what we saw in 2023, but ultimately we've been taught to expect the unexpected in the automotive sector. We've seen lots of change and volatility in this space. I mean, after all, 7% a year-over-year loss was larger than our original forecast, but it pales in comparison to the 15% decline that we had the year earlier. Sadly, what we're seeing is prices are still relatively high compared to that pre-2022 market that we used to know and love. But according to Cox Automotive, as of December 2023, the average used car price transacted for about $26,091, which has clearly trended down from about $27,108, about $1,000 down from the year earlier in December 2022. But let's not all forget what we saw prior to 2020. Back in 2018, 2019, the average used car transaction price was way down around 20 grand. So clearly we saw a steep jump of about $7,000 transaction price difference after a couple of short years. Regardless of what a lot of people are telling you, wholesale prices are slightly slumped. Auction houses are still moving vehicles, albeit not quite as intently as they were in 22. Vehicles are still grossly selling. And Cox Automotive still truly expects in 2024 to see about 36.2 million units moved in the industry. And with about 19.2 million units being sold on the retail market, clearly many are making their way through the auction house. And all of this still represents just under 1% growth. So on that note, does 2024 represent the perfect time to buy your next used vehicle, or even new vehicle for that matter? Well, the long and short of it is we're starting to see a leveling, and obviously we saw a bit of a decline in 23 and a stabilizing of the market, less volatility, but 2024 it's going to continue that flat line. We're not going to see likely the big surges unless something massive or chaotic in the industry happens. We're going to see that slightly softening, slow decay of the industry, but as a whole, we're not seeing anything diving off the springboard, and likely prices are still going to remain relatively high. Unfortunately, we'll never likely see prices like the likes of the numbers that we saw way back in 2019. So if you're looking for those types of numbers and those types of prices when you first started shopping a few short years ago, I would say don't get your hopes up. Likely those prices will never be seen again. Although with the slight softening of the market coming up and the hope that we're starting to see a little bit of a drop in interest rates, that might be your opportunity to get your next used car. And with all of that said, I hope that really helped you. Definitely want to check that out. Obviously, with high interest rates, car loans and the occurring crisis of people being underwater hits the market hard. You definitely want to check out that video and understand what's going on, and don't get in over your head. Hope to see each and every one of you on the next one. We'll see you all real soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.